Good afternoon and welcome to Phillip. Just across the way from the Royal Canberra Hospital, not too far from the Woden Town Centre in the southern suburbs of Canberra. Chris Coleman is my name, and it is good to have your company again for more Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup action for 2017 here on Bar TV. We've just had quite a spectacle here in the warm-up game. Not sure if we call it golden oldies, old boys. Play it by some rules as you make it up as you go along, but regardless, it was an entertaining affair. And the Woden Valley side got up, which made the crowd very happy indeed. Indeed, they scored a bonus try right at the end of the match. I think it was 12-4 was the final score in that one. Woden Valley today versus the Queanbeyan Blues. We saw the Woden Valley Rams on Bar TV last week, and to say their ball security left a little to be desired would be somewhat of an understatement. They also, I think, managed to give away a couple of opportunities to take the match last week against the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. Likewise, the Bushrangers were equally as guilty of that. But a 16-all draw was the Woden Valley Rams' second draw of the season. Interestingly, though, it was enough to move them from 4th to 3rd on the competition table, so results elsewhere going their way. So the third place Woden Valley Rams with 2 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws from their 5 games plus a bye so far. Their points difference is pretty close to level. They are -3 points for compared to points against. They are up against the competition-leading Queanbeyan Blues. The Blues are yet to lose a game this season. They sit 5-0 atop the table. Not only do they sit 5-0 atop the table, they are sitting with a points differential of 130 in their favour. So if you think they've been winning fairly comfortably, that would indeed be the case. Last week they had a good win over Yass. That was at home at Seaford Oval. They won that game 20 points to 4. Suffice to say that the forward pack that Terry Campese has put together in his return to football in his hometown at his home club, the forward pack that he's put together is quite impressive. Ilyasa Nagata, Todd Jamieson, Kyle O'Donnell, Michael Cullen, Joshua Stuckey and Nasri have been terrorising opposition teams right through the course of the season, and as we said, they are yet to record a loss. Having said that, it is rep football round this weekend as well, and I believe that the local side have gone over to the Riverina and had a win, so I'm not quite sure how many players from various clubs are involved there, but it does mean that there are a few players not out there today that you might expect to see otherwise. And Woden Valley, I can tell you, since last week, they have rung the bell, the selection bell. And changes for them are plenty. I count 5 in their starting 13 and another 2 on the bench. So that is 7 players we did not see coming out last week for the Woden Valley Rams in action this week. So who are those players? Well, Ilya Kotrick, the brother of Canberra Raider Nick Kotrick, will be on the wing. He'll be wearing number 20. He's one of those additions today. Liam Murphy is in the side today. He wasn't last week. He's in the centres. Steve Henderson, likewise, in the side today. He's on the wing. The half and 5/8 combination remains the same. Junior Moala is into the side. He wasn't playing last week. You have Michael Gilmore into the side. He wasn't playing last week. Jeff Morgan has moved from prop to lock for the Woden Valley Rams this week. And on the bench, you have this week Jaden DeRoy and there was one other there. Sean Maloney is on the bench again, but he has moved around. So just the one change on the bench. But yeah, 6 changes all told, not 7 for the Woden Valley Rams compared to last week. The Queanbeyan Blues side, it is a star-studded side. So the work cut out for the Woden Valley Rams. Hopefully they've been doing a bit of work on their ball security during the course of the week, because that really proved to be their undoing last week. There were a number of times when they were inside the opposition 20 where they just gave up the ball, and it made it very, very easy for the pressure to be relieved by the other side. That was perhaps not as fatal against the Tuggeranong Bushrangers as it will be against this very classy Queanbeyan Blues side. And if I was to be putting a tip out there this afternoon, I'd be suspecting Queanbeyan to do the job this afternoon. But it is first versus third. So let's see how we go. It will be Queanbeyan Blues, kind of obviously in the blue, running from left to right on your screen, north to south as this ground runs. The Woden Valley Rams to kick off. Conditions are pretty good for football here. We've had a lot of rain overnight through some parts of Canberra. I'm not sure how much has fallen here. I can tell you, just having had a quick look at the ground, there's actually been a bit of a frost burn on some of that grass on the ground. So the rain overnight will have softened it up just a little bit. And the kick-off is straight out on the full. We've seen a bit of that in Canberra Raiders Cup so far this season. Temperature-wise today, we are sitting on 17 degrees at the moment. There is very little breeze at the ground here, but I'm told officially for Canberra at the moment, we're actually averaging about 17 kilometres an hour in nor'wester, so I can't see any sign of that. So let's just say we've got 17 degrees. Sunny, the shadows of the grandstand starting to make their way across the field. And with that penalty for the Queanbeyan Blues, from the kick-off mistake from the Woden Valley Rams, we are instantly into attacking mode for the Blues. Clock stops for a moment because the ball boy on that side, there's no spare ball on the far side. So it comes in, and it's Cullen to make the first run of the day for the Blues. He's up to the 20. They've got spread right out to the right. Campese, quick ball, gets it on to Mitchell Cullen. So we've got two Cullens out there today, Michael in 11 and Mitchell in 17. They continue to come to the right. Couple of players run a dummy. Halfback Beath. Now it's on to Stuckey. Had a very fast-moving Tawaki on his outside, but chose not to pass and instead wrapped up in the tackle. They're not making a lot of meterage at the moment. Beath, run around play to O'Donnell. That's Kyle O'Donnell. He's up to the 10 now. Again to the left, Beath, Campese, long ball, beautiful pass from him to Stevens, potentially a little forward to Spears, but they keep playing. Spears a couple of metres out, last tackle called by the referee, comes back to Campese, not a great pass to him. He kicks it into the in-goal area and fielded like a slips fielder in cricket by Joel McKenzie. Good work by him. And the Woden Valley Rams will tell the first serious attack of this game, indeed the first attack of the game. I think that might have been Jesse Torres bringing it out for them there. They're not making a lot of ground at the moment, the Rams. Hardly surprising. As we've said, the defence for this Queanbeyan Blues side has been very good. Interestingly, I don't think they have the most voluminous points tally in terms of points scored. I think the Roos may have actually scored more points than the Blues, but the Blues are on top of the table as we stand. Last tackle for the Rams. They send it downfield off the boot of Carl Johnson. Terry Campese gives him a little bit of a cuddle on the way past. But no real trouble on there. No great chase from the Rams. So the Blues get the ball, and now they get another penalty. So second penalty for them. The Rams just up inside, not getting back where they should be. Brendan Spears was off in his own little world there for a second. Then he was about 6 metres in front of Campese. I think Terry Campese just called him back and said, hang on. I've got to kick it before you go up to get the ball. Charging through Michael Cullen again. He's given it back to Tyler Stevens, the man who took the tap. Stevens playing with the sideline like a precipice and fails, and if he was on a precipice, he's gone down into it. Pushed into touch. So relieving some of the pressure there, the Rams doing a good job in defence, forcing that Queanbeyan Blues side over to the far side. 3.5 gone, first half, and we have no score here between the Woden Valley Rams and the Queanbeyan Blues. First scrum of the day. Taking a bit of time to pack down and get it all set. I was really impressed with Johnson's performance last week for the Rams. He fed that in there. Was that Torres in there, or was it Vato? It was Vato, in fact, coming forward that previous one before he got unceremoniously dumped. No fancy stuff at the moment. Now the Rams get their first penalty for the day for an offside as well. So Junior Moala was on the burst, but all comes to nothing because the ball comes back to the point of the play. The ball, that would be the 30-metre line. Carl Johnson with the kick sends it marginally short, inches short of halfway. So the Rams will start at the midpoint. They go through hands. Moala bounces out of one, taken to ground, true centre of the field. Which way do they go? Pazantzis. Oh dear. This is what we saw last week. That wasn't the world's best pass. I've certainly seen better than that. I've certainly seen worse than that. It might have been Jeff Morgan was on it. Let's see what happens here. This is just, oh dear, that was actually a pretty good pass. I've done Pazantzis a disservice there. Straight into the breadbasket of Morgan, maybe a smidgen high, but really should have been comfortably wrapped up. So the Blues get the ball back off the scrum. It goes long ball to Beath, then on to Tauaki. Tauaki into opposition territory again. Jamison at dummy half. Now it's Kyle O'Donnell. Taking plenty of time in the tackle of the Rams. Referee might have a word or two to say about that at some stage. Now it's Ilya Nagata this time. That's his first touch for the day. They go left. Flat pass to Campese with a couple of dummy runners. He managed to get it on quickly to Michael Cullen. Cullen up inside the 20-metre line. And another penalty. The referee certainly making sure he knows where his whistle is. This time the Blues elect the tap and go. They give it to Nagata, 10 metres out. Get ready for them to go left. Campese's been calling that way. Could be a long ball coming. He throws the cutout pass straight into the chest of Michael Cullen, who, as easy as you like, finds a big gap and scores just to the left of the uprights. And the first points of the day on the board. 6 minutes gone. It's the Queanbeyan Blues 4 over the Woden Valley Rams 0. Kick to come. Well, this will be one of the easiest tries you'll see here. We called it that Campese had been calling out to the left, and the man he was calling out to on the left there was Michael Cullen. Huge gap. No way they were going to stop him. Easy try. Couple of things to learn from that. One is that the Rams just must not give away penalties. The second thing to learn from that is that the Rams have got to hold on to the ball. You can trace that back. You can trace that back to the middle of the field, where Morgan put down a dead set sitter from Costa Pazantzis. Changeover of play via the scrum. Relieving penalty, or not a relieving penalty, but a penalty that helps to get the Blues set in attack right in front of the posts, and then a couple of tackles later, in and over. And that makes it 6-0 with the conversion there from Terry Campese. That'll be one of the easier conversions that he gets, I think. That one not terribly hard. Like I said, though, there's very little wind here today. Very nice conditions for football in the nation's capital this Saturday afternoon, the 20th of May. Woden this time go for the deep kick-off, and they send it right down almost to the in-goal area. You can see there already the Blues just making metres almost at will this afternoon. That's Mitchell Cullen. Bounces out of one, ducks under another, almost steps out of the third before it takes two to wrap him up. I know he's a big man, but it's the old story. You've got to go low. Can't run without legs, is the old saying. Nagata. 25 out. They're across to the right through Campese. He puts the chip over. Ilya Kotrick. First I've seen of him, a little bit high there. No malice in it. Referee says it's slid up. We'll let that continue on. Having kept Vato again for the Rams, and he gets a bit of a push and a shove as he tries to take to his feet, does Vato, and the referee says, yeah, that one was a little bit unnecessary. So the Rams, a chance to actually get some attack going here. Penalty granted about 20 out from their own line. Now, this is only about 15 in from touch, so they can really put some metres on the ground. That's coming right towards me and the camera. Lands short, and it's rebounded off a couple of people down at ground level. Not much we could have done about that. Unfortunately, from up here, it went in under our camera platform and came out very, very quickly. We're back into action on the field. Rams certainly playing a faster breed of football than they did last week. And I suspect they'll need to this week. Jeff Morgan gets it up to the 30. Pazantzis across to the left. Bit of a juggle from Gilmore. Manages to hang on to it. Really ruled out any further opportunity with it. They're trying to stack the blind side, the Rams. Instead they go the long. Now it's with Morgan. He gets up. 10 metres out. Another step and he would have been through. They're off to the left through Carl Johnson. Johnson with the chip picked up by Campese. Campese straight back at the kick at Johnson and wrapped up for the tackle on the 10-metre line. Not a bad attacking option there from the Woden Valley Rams, but kicking it straight to Campese probably didn't do them too many favours. Look how quickly the Blues are on the rebound here. Michael Cullen, he's given the ball across. It gets through two hands to Tyler Stevens. Stevens has got only one man to beat. He's picked up in the tackle, offloads, gets the pass away, but it's gone forward. Probably would have been better to have taken the tackle there. There was no one else at home, so a quick play the ball and they would have been okay. Good hit. Stevens was winded a little bit in that, hardly surprising. He was hit pretty hard. He was lifted up a little bit and landed hard on the ground. Referee's called time off. So Tyler Stevens in the hands of the trainer. You can see him way over there on the far side, just in front of the gap in the advertising signs. Right in the middle of your picture. In fact, that's in there, the trainer in the high-vis orange. A reminder that our game clock on screen is not connected to the official clock, so there's a little bit of difference between the two, about a 40-second difference between the two at the moment. Game is stopped while they do check out Tyler Stevens for the Queanbeyan Blues. Stevens is up now. He'll be okay. Glass of water and he should be fine. So when we get restarted, it will be a Woden Valley feed. For the scrum, referee calls time on. We'll wait for the ball to make its way back into the scrum. It'll come eventually. Trust me on this, folks. It'll happen eventually. There we go. And we're through. Rams on the attack, this time through Morgan, the captain today. Really does need to lead by example. The Blues taking a lot of time to get off him after that tackle. Vato in at dummy half, passes it over to Moala. Moala right to the halfway line. They are starting to get a few things together here. Flat pass. Lawler in there. It is, he's in early. Not Lawler, it's Morgan again. There you go. So Morgan just repeatedly injecting himself into this. He's really trying to soften up these Blues. Kick comes from Johnson. It's a towering bomb. Getting underneath it was Spears, Brandon Spears for the Blues. He takes it and is immediately put to turf. There's a call from someone, go Ilya. Ilya Kotrick was charging up but didn't really have a crack at the ball, didn't have any way of getting to it, so stayed out of it. Tawaki for the Blues. Now it's with Campese over to Spears, so he's come across from this wing to the far side. Almost like a passing draw from the Blues. Nagata through hands, gets across to Stuckey. Stuckey, that might be Tawaki again. Now it's with Fanafo. Haven't seen Fanafo much today, if at all. This could be the first time he's touched the ball. And no one's going to tackle him. He bounces out of another one, goes to ground. 35 out. Nice work from Francis Fanafo. Campese. Gee, these long balls from Campese must make his wingers and centres feel absolutely wrapped. Delivering them with inch perfect perfection. It's back to Campese. This time he goes for the kick. Contesting for the ball, a couple of players. It comes down to Stuckey. Stuckey goes over the line, but the referee has ruled a knock-on in there. I thought it's a bit hard for me to tell from where we're sitting there because I've actually got a structure in my way in that part of the field. You probably had a better view of it as the shadows made their way across on your screen. Being on the last tackle, it will be a turnover. And it'll be Michael Gilmore to play it for the Rams. They just need to be able to get that one extra step to get free. The Rams, I understand why they're generally playing one off the ruck, but they do need to, or they will need to at some stage actually start to spread the ball a little bit wide. They've only conceded the one try. It's 6-0 for the Queanbeyan Blues over the Woden Valley Rams, and we've got 14 minutes gone in this first half of the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup for 2017, round 7. Morgan again. Kick from the halfback Johnson. Might bounce. No, it's well taken by Misios. He judged it well. I thought he left his run too late, but it just floated a little bit on perhaps a breeze at a higher altitude. Misios had judged it well. Campese comes into dummy half. Gives it to Spears. Spears picked up and slung to the ground by a couple of tacklers, including Vato. We go from a speedster to a big man, Mitch Cullen. Now it's Kyle O'Donnell. Gets up to the halfway mark. Cribs a few more metres in the tackle. Jamison, Campese. I think Michael Cullen was the target, but instead it winds up with Adam Misios. Just got so many angles they can run here, these Blues. Campese's in absolutely everything. Kicks it this time towards the posts. Now it's tapped back by Vato, tapped forward by Vato, tapped back by, or tapped forward by one of the Blues players. So what are we going to get here? I'm assuming it's a knock-on from the Rams first, so it'll be a scrum to the Queanbeyan Blues. Campese's kicking game playing absolute havoc with the Rams defence. You can see there the knock-on from Vato, and then the secondary knock-on there comes from the Blues, so it will be a Blues scrum feed. Right on the 10-metre line. You would fancy the Blues to score from this set because they've shown when they get multiple tackles in close, they are very hard to stop. They've just gone across the park. Campese gets it onto Stevens, gets it onto Spears, and Spears, well, a bridge too far, pushed into touch, so the Rams get to breathe again. They'll get the ball back. And the Blues, well, they're chancing their arm. I guess that's a sign of a side that is in form and on top of the competition ladder. You see it here, just comes across hands. Campese, long ball, finds Stevens, then onto Spears. Very flat pass. Spears tries to pass it, but too late. He was already lying on the stripe. I'd like to know what else the Blues have got in their locker. I don't know whether they're ever going to need a grinding game. But geez, that's a 20-metre tackle. And when I say a 20-metre tackle, that's a 20-metre tackle sideways across the field. Michael Cullen just monstering the Rams attacker. Now, for the second time today, Ilya Kotrick gets a go. He's only made about 5 metres forwards, but he's gone 20 metres sideways in the other direction again. They're really working hard, these Rams, to try and make any metres. They are looking now to go a little bit wider, perhaps. Not on this occasion. Across to the left through, I think that might be Gilmore. Gilmore sneaks forward a metre and the tackle gets away with it. Kick comes from Johnson. Smothered, bounces back. Now, he's ruled 6 again here, so if Jesse Torres, the fullback, is smart, he'll hang on to it and just get up over the halfway line. He is indeed smart. I was impressed with his play last week. He's having a good one so far today. Leapai in the bottom of the pile, it is. Pesantis at dummy half, gives it to Moala. He tries to charge through, probably charging at the three biggest units on the Blues side, so that didn't really work out terribly well. Johnson dummies a couple of times, gives it to support in Tors. And that's been called touched again, so the Rams have got a chance here. They've got 6 tackles from 20 metres out. Moala pushes, shoves, hustles and bustles. He's 10 out. Comes to the left. Johnson had options, went for the short ball to Gilmore, comes back to Johnson. He goes the longer ball now. Finds Leapai. Leapai steps, and then Leapai is flattened. 5 metres out. Which way? Off to the left. Johnson again, long ball. Had a couple of options. He just can't get up quick enough to play the ball here. Ball goes to ground. It's been picked up by Tyler Stevens, but I think it's been called a knock on. Has been. So the Rams will get another crack here. First time we've seen real sustained pressure available to the Rams. Last week, I'm perfectly willing to stand corrected on this, but last week I reckon we didn't see successive sets start inside the 20 from the Rams for the whole game. Certainly not 3 successive sets. So they've done well. They've hung on to it this time. The Blues ring a couple of changes in their scrum. They ring another change in the scrum. The Rams, meantime, are standing there waiting. They get ready. Now it's with McKenzie. Across to Gilmore. Gilmore still going. He's 5 metres away. He can almost get out of the tackle, but not quite. He's brought to ground. McKenzie comes into dummy half. Goes across through to Pazantzis. Now onto Leapai. They come back to the left through Moala. Right in front of the posts. They've lost a couple of metres on this play. All right, they're a metre out. What can they do? Where are the numbers? They've got numbers to the left, but I fancy they're going to go to the right here. Little bit of chip kick comes through from Pazantzis, but it's fielded instead by the Blues, and they get out of jail here through a very fast Todd Jamison. Now they give it across to Tui. Tuaki puts it back on the inside. Fainafo's made a bit of a mistake there. He's lost it, and the Rams have picked it up. Would have liked to have seen him just try to go a few metres infield there. Had the potential to get in because there was a bit of a sizable gap there, but instead they continue on. Vato on the 40-metre line. Pazantzis, dummy half across to Henderson. Haven't seen much from him so far today. Nice to see him getting himself involved in the play. They go across to the right again. Murphy runs it at Campese. Makes another 10. 31 out. Johnson. Across to Gilmore. Jesse Tors calling to the touch judge saying, watch his head, sir, watch his head. Johnson, long ball. Pop it out late again. Johnson gets another crack at it. Now it's with Hicks. Tom Hicks bounces out. 5 metres out. Last tackle. Can they get another set here, the Rams? Across to the right. Johnson with the kick. Little chip kick. Grubber. Bounce. Knocked back. Or knocked forward. He might have called that a knock on. Certainly looked like a knock back to mine, but the referee's a lot closer than I am. And, to be fair, was in perfect position. Let's have a quick look at this as the scrum goes down. So here comes the kick from Johnson. Okay, maybe the tiniest of knock-ons there as he was diving down onto the ball. Certainly okay on the first touch. The Rams with more possession. Michael Gilmore up over the 10, towards the 5, 3 metres out. They'll go back to the right. That's where their numbers are. Shuffling and dancing. He's only a metre out. Long ball to Johnson. Johnson throws the dummy. He's in danger of being picked off there. Now we've got the knock-on being called by the Rams. And it all comes unstuck. I think he might have been hoping to have been tackled without it, but in the end it just didn't work out for the Rams. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at the Queanbeyan Blues in the last few minutes. This is almost comedy caper stuff here from Johnson, the way he held on and held on and held on. I think it might have been Murphy, the man who got flattened by the truck immaterially in the end. But 23 minutes gone. It's only 6-0 here this afternoon, so the Rams can be happy with their defence. And let's face it, up against this Queanbeyan side, defence is 9/10 of the battle. He's just got to find a way through that almost impenetrable blue wall. This is Kyle O'Donnell for them now. He's up to the 30. And again, just up too quick, or up not quick enough. Campese kicks it. And look at the distance he tries to make here, and indeed does make. It's what the former NRL and Superliga. So for the Blues, Stuckey. It's the 30-metre line you can see they're just inside of. McInnes, his first touch for the day. He's coming off the bench in 16. Go left. Campese again. Gives it onto the fullback, Misios. Misios thought about going further outside, but instead taken in the tackle. Right on the 20. They'll come back to the right through Campese onto McInnes. McInnes just being used as a battering ram. I don't think he's actually made... Oh, he has actually made it up to the 10. Campese again. Dummies once. Gives it across to the halfback in Beath. Beath steps and goes and steps and goes, and I think he might, going by the way he's just tossed the ball up in the air, have crossed the stripe and put it down for a try. Second four-pointer of the afternoon, the first for David Beath, and with the kick to come, it is the Blues 10, the Rams nothing. 14 and a half to go in this first half at Phillip Oval. Again, you can chalk this up to the class of Campese. He just throws the dummy, gets the long ball onto Beath. The dummy was sold so well. There were a number of players from the Rams who were thinking the ball had gone to Tui. And David Beath gets it down. So he gets the first try, or his first try. Queanbeyan out to 10-0. When you go to the wide shot, you'll see this one from the best seat in the house. Campese takes his time. Comes in, you see it on the wide shot, has absolutely no trouble with that, and it is now 12-0, the Queanbeyan Blues over the Woden Valley Rams. Just checking my notes from the previous try, as we do keep notes during the course of the game here, so we can provide a summary later on. And I've got 8th minute, Michael Cullen try, long ball Campese. 26th minute, David Beath try, long ball Campese. Campese certainly best on field in this game so far this afternoon. That would be McInnes, I think, and there it is. When you've got Aaron McInnes and Mitchell Cullen that you can use as battering ram type players, just makes it so hard, takes so much wind out of the opposition players. Woden not outclassed, but they're 12 points down on the score, but they'd like to have something in their account before half-time. I think that's Michael Cullen over there. A bit hard to tell because there's so many other players on top of him. Was indeed. They go left, that's with Tui. And he makes another 5 or 6 metres. Jamison to Campese. Campese this time just kicks it straight downfield. It bounces into the in-goal area eventually. Picked up by Tors. He looks up and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue jumpers in a line. And he's managed to get out of the tackle. Well done you, son. There's one for his highlight reel. That was no mean feat to actually get that back about 15 metres into the field of play. Impressive. I just think the Rams are starting to suck in a few of the big ones here. They're just looking a little bit tired. They've got 11 minutes to survive till half time. Can they get some points on the board? They got Gilmore. Offloads in the tackle. Is that Jeff Morgan putting it down again? No, that time it was Sean Maloney. Apologies, Jeff. Sean Maloney, I don't think he's been on for long. Getting used to the pace of the game, perhaps. Nasri brings it forward for the Blues. And he's lost it. Little knock on. Well, I've got to say I've been impressed with the Rams' defence this week. They've certainly looked more impressive defensively today than they did last Saturday at Greenway. So here's Nasri, goes forward into the tackle, loses it somewhere in the bottom of the pile. Very lucky, I suspect, the Rams not to get that call to strip, because how many times do you see that once there's 2 or 3 guys in the tackle? If it comes through, the referee calling it a strip. But again, as we said, the ref much closer to the action than we were, and again, in the perfect position, so we're not going to argue the toss with him. That's the 40-metre line that the Rams are on now. Running it straight up the middle is not going to achieve a great deal for them. They've got to try and get it out wide. They've got the big unit of Ilya Kotrick over on this side. He's touched the ball twice, maybe 3 times tops here. They need to get him into the game. But running it straight up the middle of the paddock, yes, they're making 10 metres a tackle. The problem is that the field's longer than the tackles they've got. Now it's with Vato. Vato, here's the call from someone, throws it almost blindfolded. McKenzie has picked it up and actually made another 10 metres out of it. Well, that was money for nothing for the Rams. Certainly better than the play deserved. Now it's with Leapai. 11 metres out, and again, last tackle called. Can they get a repeat set? Johnson kicks it. Comes back across the field and taken by Jamieson for the Queanbeyan Blues. About a metre out from his own line, Campese comes into dummy half. Now it's McInnes. Takes forever to get him wrapped up in the tackle, and the referee not terribly happy with all events going on in the tackle, as you can see from the gesture. And I don't think McInnes entirely happy with everything going on in the tackle either. He's just taking a couple of deep breaths to get himself organised. Campese's kicked that straight to us. Curves away just at the last minute off the roof of the canteen. Toaki. Go too far. Gee, they make this so easy. This distance, really, the Blues, they make this look so easy. That was Nasri. McLean in the pink headgear, his first touch for the day. Campese goes over to Michael Cullen. He's got one try today. He'd love another one before half time, but I think even from 40 metres out, that's a bit too far for him. McLean, Campese, juggle from Misios, has to slow up to take it, hangs onto the ball. That's the important part. Get ready for a lot of hands on this set, I think. Beath now across through McInnes. McInnes had options on his outside, went himself instead. He's got Toaki standing with his hand in the air on the left. They go to the right instead. Campese puts it a long way up. It's just inside the field of play. It takes guts to take those, and taken just inside the field of play. 7.5 till the break. Johnson comes into dummy half. There's Vato. Lawler in under that. Just a bit hard to pick at the minute. So they get out of it again. Really not the most exciting set of 6. And compounded at the end by Johnson kicking it and it going out on the full. trying to pick what changes the Rams have made here. They've got Dan Pryor out there, so that's who I was having trouble trying to pick up before. So Pryor is out there in 17 for them. So the Blues with the changeover on the 40-metre line. Chance to really set themselves up. They won't be thinking about setting up for a second set. They'll be thinking about setting themselves up for a try on this set. That's what their attack is. It is just all about attack. There's very little mucking around. McLean looks across, lowish pass to Beath. Beath does well to get onto Misios. Misios onto Tauaki. $15 out. Beath. Who's he give it to? One guess. Campese decides not to pass it until, party trick. Flips it across when he's almost brought to the ground. Finds Tyler Stevens right in the bread gasket and Stevens scores. Oh, that's just class. Oozing class from every poor Terry Campese. He could still play in the NFL, in the NRL, couldn't he? Check this out. This will be hard to beat for try of the day. Campese, just as he's about to be wrapped up. I'd love to have seen Tyler Stevens facing close up there, because he must have known this was coming. There's no other way in the world. This is just beautiful. So Campese with no tries, but 3 try assists this afternoon. He's got 2 conversions. You'd imagine he'll get the 3rd one here. And with 5 minutes till half time, I don't think it's often you can say a side has done well to be going in 3 tries down at half time, but that's going to be the case here. This Queanbeyan Blues side has looked very, very sharp. The Rams have had opportunities, they just haven't quite been able to close the door. List made a change from the long ball from Campese. This one making its way through several hands. You see the flags go up. You might have heard the whistle there. Converted. And that makes the score 18 points to 0. The Queanbeyan Blues over the Woden Valley Rams. And really, if the Rams don't score next, for their fans here at Phillip Oval this afternoon, it could turn out to be a fairly lengthy set of proceedings in the second 40. They go for the high kickoff. It's taken by Misios. He gives it off to Tui. Tui finds support on his outside. That might have been Stevens. Then on to Cullen, Michael Cullen. Michael Cullen flicks it out the back door to nobody, and suddenly the Rams have got it, and they're only 30 metres out. Plenty of time left on the clock here. 3 minutes to go, so plenty of time here. That was Pryor who picked it up. Gives it over to Leapai. He was one of their best last week, and he's been pretty good again today. They look across to the left. They need a couple of long balls here. Well, there you go. A couple of dummies instead. Now they go for the ball through McKenzie. Gets it on to Gilmore, who loses it. The Blues have come up with it, but we've got a forward pass has been called in there. And the Rams I just don't think they were mentally set there. I think they were anticipating the Blues having the ball. They weren't expecting to get it back. They picked it up through Pryor when it was thrown to the ground by one of the Blues. Pryor had it, but nobody really looked to get set there. I think Gilmore probably should have just hung on to it in the end. But again, I've said this already, you've got Ilya Kotrick. You can see him in the bottom right of your picture there, Ilya Kotrick, in the number 20 jersey on the wing for the Rams. He is a big boy, and he's had, I'd take a stab at 3 touches in the first half, and I think I'm being generous. I reckon it's actually 2. Been hard to call the game and keep stats at the same time, so I can't be 100% certain on that, but I reckon he's had 2 touches. He needs to get more involvement in the game, especially against a strong and fast side like this Queanbeyan Blues outfit. 1 minute 48 to go till half time. It's Stuckey, is it? It's just, no, it's not Stuckey. It's Spears who's lost it. The referee calling it a strip. So the Blues get it back. Campese goes for the quick kick downfield. And wow, where did he kick that from? From 10, 20, 30, from inside his own 40. And he's put it out inside the 20. I don't see too many penalty kicks taken like that, and they play on quickly. They want to get 4 tries before half-time. They've given it to McInnes. He pushes and barrows and pushes, and he's brought back into the field of play, and he's had the ball stripped out of him. That'll be a penalty. I know it's a try saver, and I know it's heartbreaking, and perhaps McInnes could have shown a little bit more ball security. But rules is rules, and that's the way it goes. Stuckey off the penalty. The Rams need to slow play down here. There's 50 seconds left. Their defence has been good enough. They deserve to only go in 3 tries down. In some ways, they probably should have scored as well. That's McInnes again. McLean, long ball to Tui. Tui to Campese. Campese throws it. Oh, and he's actually missed his target. Picked up by Tyler Stevens. Stevens wrapped up again 10 metres out. 25 seconds to go. Misios, Tui goes a second chance, 5 metres out, 10 to the left of the posts. They've stacked the right side of the Blues. Campese has options, gives it to Beath. Beath gets it onto Tuaki. Tuaki loses it, the ball goes to ground. Sloppy footy all over the place, and with 3 seconds to go and a double knock-on ruled. You'll hear the bell ring, and that'll do us for the first 40. At Oranges, it is the Queanbeyan Blues 18 leading the Woden Valley Rams yet to score. A game that I think we can safely say has been more exciting than the scoreline reflects. Joining me from the Canberra Region Rugby League, John Kreuter, with a few thoughts on the first 40 minutes. And John, 18 points to 0. I said in the course of the call there, you won't often say a side still looking good, even though they've conceded 3 tries to none. But certainly the Rams really putting up a big challenge to this very, very good Queanbeyan Blues side.
Yeah, I thought the Rams were quite good, especially in defence throughout that first half. However, they just lacked a little bit of spark in attack. Carl Johnson is definitely doing his best out there, but without his regular halves partner in Jack Hickson, a lot of the work's falling to him. He doesn't have that second option in those playmaking duties. So there's been a lot of pressure put onto him by the Blues, and he's struggled a little bit because of that. You mentioned throughout the call as well that they just hadn't been going to that left edge much with Kotrich out there, but also out there is Michael Gilmore. Now, Gilmore was the leading try scorer in the competition a couple of weeks ago until he got suspended for a dangerous throw. He's back this week. He's raring to go, and he's looking good out there. But they seem to be going just down the middle, just rolling through their sets, and they're not really attacking with any intent. Their defence has been solid, but they haven't really provided much in attack.
Meanwhile, we look at the other side, the Queanbeyan Blues, and we were talking about it prior to the game starting, before our broadcast started here, John. Their forwards, it's a nonsense out there, and you look at the guys they've got coming off the bench. They can just roll the changes, and it's almost old-time rugby league here. You know, you're seeing big guys like Aaron McInnes, Mitchell Cullen, Sai Tui, there's Nasri in there as well, Nagata. It's the old style. Give it to those blokes in the first couple of tackles. Soften up the opposition. Don't let them draw breath, and then let the backs do the work.
Yeah, just looking at the size difference between the two packs, when I was down on the touchline, it was quite a big difference between them. They're just making some easy meters, but even though I find that the Blues haven't been up in there attacking 22 much, they've really made it count once they've been up there. With Campese, he's obviously got David Beath with him in the halves. Beath got injured in the first match against the Sharks. He's been out for a little while. Misius has been filling in the halves, but he's back to fullback this week. And it's hard to see how this team all fits together as well. In a couple of weeks, Jake Wheeler will be back. He's with the Monaros side who won their match today against Riverina. So they're through the semi-finals of the country championships. But Jake Wheeler's the fullback generally. And it's just, where does Adam Misius fit in? Because he's been fantastic as well.
And the other thing I really liked about Queanbeyan today, you mentioned Terry Campese, just the inch-perfect passes from him, and he'll be passing at 15 metres right into the guy's breadbasket. But The first try of the day, the Michael Cullen try, was great. That was topped by the David Beath try, both of those coming from the long ball. But when he went to the party trick draw with that last one for Tyler Stevens, which had gone through the hands, had come across from the play of the ball through to Beath, onto Campese. And Campese just showing the class there and knowing how long he could hold the ball for before just flicking the pass underneath his body as he went to ground, straight onto Tyler Stevens. He's got to be about the best thing going around in the Canberra Raiders Cup at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has been fantastic. He's just had so much class and composure, and he's getting targeted by every single team. And he's had his injuries problems over the last couple of years, but he's been under so much pressure. But he hasn't backed off. He's just played his hand nicely and set up 3 tries, just as you mentioned. The other thing I noticed about him is when he's talking to his teammates, he demands perfection from them as well. I was just down behind the in-goal when we were attacking, and he was just shouting out, "It's like, don't make that call again," to one of his players. He just demands that perfection from the rest of his teammates.
I'm just seeing if we've got any other details around from around the grounds. And alas and alack, we don't have anything for you from anywhere else this afternoon. But what we can tell you here at the Phillip Oval, it is half-time. It is the Queanbeyan Blues leading the Woden Valley Rams 18 points to nothing. Second half not too far away. John Croyder from the Canberra Raiders, good to speak to you this afternoon. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Good speaking with you, Chris.
That's John Croyder. I'm Chris Coleman. We'll take a couple of minutes break and bring you the second half from Phillip, where it is 18-0 Blues over the Rams here in the Osbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup, round 7 match of the day. The second half about to get underway here at Phillip Oval. The home side, the Woden Valley Rams, with it all to do, quite literally, in the second half. They trail 18-0 over the ladder-leading Queanbeyan Blues. If you haven't been with us, it's been tries to Michael Cullen, David Beath and Tyler Stevens for the Queanbeyan Blues, and Terry Campese has gone 3 for 3 with conversions. 40 minutes of play remaining. The Rams have had their opportunities. They've just lacked finishing options more than anything else. Kickoff is allowed to bounce 3 times. And therefore, a slow start from the Rams. They're only just back out to their own 20. They need to use their edges. The Rams, they can't just keep running it up the middle. They've been doing it all day, and it has gone nowhere for them. Morgan brought to ground. Now through Gilmore. Not quite at the halfway. Johnson kicks. He finds Misios on the fly. Misios over the 10. Thinks about passing. Gets to the 20. Wrapped up by a couple. Brought to ground, maybe 24 out. Hard to find a non-contributor for the Queanbeyan Blues. They've really typified team football this afternoon. Spears on that occasion. Now it's with McLean. He gives it to Michael Cullen. There you go, long ball, I think it was McInnes. Then on to Nazary in the headgear. They're across to the right again. Campese gives it on to Beath. Ball comes back inside. I think that might be Misios in there. He's toying with the sideline and they throw him into touch. That's the third or fourth time today we've seen the Rams push the Queanbeyan Blues attackers into touch. So they've certainly got the defensive capability down the wings, down the flanks, but they need to exercise the options going the other way. They've got to start using their wingers. We've seen very little of Ilya Kotrick and very little of Steve Henderson this afternoon. So centre field scrum, just outside their own 40. The Rams could do a lot with this. Tom Hicks, haven't sighted him a lot today. Gets it up to the halfway line. Across to the right, through Leapai. Leapai sets, charges straight at Campese. They're into attacking territory now, the Rams. Morgan gets through one, gets through a second. He's wrapped up 30 out, so they're making some meterage. Couple of dummies thrown. Just with McKenzie, then on to Gilmore. This would be the fourth, I think. Pryor gets it up over the 10. What's their option going to be for the last? They're 5 metres out. Can they get a repeat set? Across to the left, maybe they won't need it. They go through Gilmore. He can't get his hands free, and now he's brought to ground. It'll be a handover. Close but no cigar for the Rams. And the Blues defence holds strong. Spears the first into attack for the Blues. Now it's with Stuckey. Already up over the 20. They make 10 metres almost every time they get the ball here. They're so quick. Even running it from dummy half there, McLean, the replacement hooker. Makes an easy 10. Again to Campese. Back around the ball to Tui. Campese again. Long ball. Put to ground. It's been picked up by Tom Hicks. It was Michael Cullen, I think, who put it down. Tom Hicks picks it up. So the Rams start a set effectively in opposition territory. Liam Murphy charges forward. Again, not sighted a lot for the Rams in the first half. Steve Henderson, the winger, moves into the middle of the field to get some action. Cops one high for his troubles. And the Rams will get a penalty. Now, which way will Johnson go with the penalty? He's almost midfield. In fact, he's probably a bit closer to the near side than the other side, and instead just decides to go for the tap. That's an interesting call. Morgan wasn't at full tilt when he got the ball, but he's managed to get it up outside the 20. They go to the left through Leapai. Leapai pushes a bit further. 15 out. This is good play from the Rams. Back to Morgan. He steps over one. He pushes through with McLean. Gets close to the line, right up to the posts. You can see the uprights. Oh, you can't, I can. Uprights are absolutely swaying here. He's got over the line, been held up. So it'll come back to the 10-metre line. In some ways, he would have been better to have just taken the tackle in the field of play there, I think. And they've lost the 10 metres here. Charging on it is Pryor. You see his head bounce around in the tackle. Only a couple of metres out. Options to the right. They go that way through Johnson. Johnson, long ball, gets it across to Steve Henderson. Henderson, I said we needed to see more from him. And you've seen 4 points worth from him. He crosses the stripe. And the Rams get in the scorebook. 6 minutes gone in the second half. It won't be the easiest of conversions, but it's a pretty good try. Steve Henderson, first onto the scoreboard for the Woden Valley Rams this afternoon. 18-4 kick to come. Check this out. This is nice play. Johnson holds it and holds it and holds it. The long ball must have been incredibly a nervous wait for Steve Henderson as he had to wait for that because it seemed to just hang in the air. It's almost the Harbour Bridge pass. It stays up. Henderson maintains his composure, takes a couple of steps forward, steps to the left, steps to the right, steps over the line and plants the ball for the first 4 pointers for the Rams this afternoon. I did say at half-time they're not out of this, but they do need to, well, attack down the flanks. What do you know? The winger scores. Almost as though the Rams had taken a leaf from the Blues book there with the long ball from the halfback setting things up for them. As you've seen there, the conversion unsuccessful. But 18 points to 4. Sure, it's not that much different in number terms, but it is so much more different mentally for you to know that you've actually breached the line and you've been able to score. And there's still plenty of time left in this one. Plenty of confusion in the in-goal area for the Woden Valley Rams. Eventually, it's Ilya Kotrick who gets it. He tries to burrow his way underneath a couple, David Beath being one of them. And now crawling in the tackle until the call of held is made. The sun starts to get a bit lower in the sky here at Phillip this afternoon. Michael Gilmore makes another 10. I think the Rams are throwing everything they've got at the Blues at the moment. The Blues have got a man down injured as well. That's Joshua Stuckey. He's in no great hurry to get up. Johnson kicks into the corner. There is nobody down there, so this will be into the in-goal area. In fact, now it's Missios who gets it. He runs sideways. Can he get out of the field of play and out of the in-goal area? No, he can't. That is great play from Carl Johnson, reading it perfectly, seeing there was nobody home for the Queanbeyan Blues. Gets the ball down into the in-goal area. Missios did everything that he could to get out, but there were too many quick chases from the Rams. I reckon they talked about that as a play possibly to use at half-time. Executed it perfectly. They'll get the ball back. Now what you can't see, so we'll just watch this again. See this kick perfectly weighted from Johnson. It bounces once, bounces twice. A little bit fortunate that bounce there just in front of Missios that it bounced straight back up again. But great chases there, including Johnson himself. Tom Hicks also involved. Plenty of backslapping. Might have even been Ilya Kotrick in there. So Campisi with the line dropout gets it almost to the halfway. Pryor gets it and he's got pace. He's going full tilt. Bounces out of the tackle on the 30-metre line. wrapped up at the 25. Across to the right. Now it's Leapai. Crosses the 20. The Rams playing with confidence. Joel Morgan up over the 10. They've got 3 tackles through inside the 10. They've done it once already. Johnson, long ball. This time he finds Murphy. Had Henderson waiting outside, but Murphy had to just wait half a second to make sure he had a handle on it. This is the 4th. Johnson, long ball, Leapai. Up over the 10, but that's as far as he can get. Last tackle, they need to engineer another repeat set if they can. Johnson kicks it through. Oh my goodness! He's called it. What's the referee called that there? Oh, he's called it a loss forward. I'd like to see that again. I'm not sure if we're going to have time. That was almost perfectly executed. Let's have a quick look here. The kick comes. Well, I've got to confess I can't see a problem there, but we'll worry about that later on. Looking on a small screen with plenty of sun glare. Let's just move on. And the Blues have the ball. They're back up to the 40-metre line. 18-4, half an hour to go in this one. Nazari. Across to the left again. Through Tui. No one later handled him in the first line. The secondaries wrapped him up, to use an NFL term. On the attacking 40 now. Nagata bounces and gets up to 25 metres out. They just make yards so easily, this Blues side. Beath still goes. McLean comes into dummy half. Campese's called across to the left again. Here comes the kick. They've got the extra man. Now everyone's manned up, taken by Spears. He's shuffling towards the line, and I think he's got that down. I think it's going to be called a try. It is called a try. Off an inch-perfect pass for a kick from Terry Campese. Brendan Spears takes it, forces his way towards the line, and that is how quickly the game of rugby league can change. 90 seconds ago, it looked like it was a try for the Woden Valley Rams, but instead the ball goes the length of the field in the space of one set, and this is really all she wrote. That is pure strength from Spears to plant that down. But again, put it down to Terry Campese. The kick, absolutely spot on. Spears took it in the air. He really didn't need to. He could have stood there. There was no one coming at him. 22-4, kick to come. There is a conversation between player and captain, player and referee rather. Jeff Morgan having a chat with the ref. You just can't afford to nod off. Not for a minute against this Queanbeyan side. Well, the fans trying to get inside Campese's head. And maybe, just maybe, they did enough. He doesn't convert, and the score is 22 points to 4. 27 to go. 18 points the difference. We're back where we were at half time. 27 minutes precisely left on the clock. The Blues bring it out from their own line again. And Campese directing traffic again. Gee, he just reads the game so well. Knows the strengths and weaknesses of every player out there. Puts them all in the right position. And then gets into the play himself. Offloads it around to, I think that might be Taylor Stevens. It is Taylor Stevens. He stutters and stumbles. A little bit of soft shoe shuffle as he gets to the 30. But he's brought to ground. McLean says, can you let him get up? I'm waiting for the play the ball. The referee agrees. Campese has it for the penalty. They'll put this right down into the red zone. They backed it up a little bit. Backed up a little bit. The touch, he says to Campese. No, you're playing on the 20. He was all set to play about 25 metres out. Tui. Several big units for the Blues. And he's lost the ball in there. So the Rams get off the hook on this one. They need to score. They need to score 3 times just to level this game up. I'm not saying they can't do it because we've seen plenty from them in attack today. But I think the attack has largely been one-dimensional from them. Too much reliance on going up the middle. Not enough willingness to use the edges. Where do they go this time? Straight up the guts of the park, one more. And again, only make it to the 15. Come across to the left. And try the underground route. Well, I guess it is something different. Gilmore. He pushes and shoves. 38 out from his own line. Now it's with Morgan. Jeff Morgan runs across field. It's a little bit of additional loving while he's on the ground. Leapai makes plenty. Up to the opposition 40. Last tackle called though. So Johnson, instead of kicking for distance, kicks for position. It bounces once. It bounces a second time. It's been dropped there by Messios. It's been picked up by, I think that might be McKenzie in there. McKenzie's put the kick forward. It goes out to Ilya Kotrick. We said we needed to see more from him, and we've seen him score a 4-pointer right under the black dot. Get it out to the wingers, we said at half-time. Get it out to the wingers for the Rams. Lo and behold, they've scored 2 tries. One to Steve Henderson, winger on the right. The other to Ilya Kotrick, winger on the left. It came from a bit of a messy play after the Blues let it bounce. You'll see it here. It's almost as though that ball was covered in spiders and nobody wanted it. Messios got it, dropped it. Smart play from McKenzie to keep going with it. Offloads to Kotrick, who was standing completely unopposed. Must have thought all his Christmases had come at once. Plonks it down under the post like a kid with his brand new bike on December 25. Big grin there. This will be an easy conversion from right in front. So Johnson's missed the first one. 22 points to 8. Can it become 22-10? It can indeed. 2 tries the difference. 22 and a half minutes remaining. Chris Coleman bringing the action on Bar TV this afternoon. Beautiful day here in Canberra. I've got to confess I was expecting it to be a bit colder by this stage of proceedings, but we're still at about 15 degrees. 22-10, 22 minutes remaining. And the Rams lift again. They're quick. Oh, there's got to be a penalty there. And there is a penalty there. There'll be some feeling here, a few words being said. Now, I don't like seeing a tackle like that as much as the next man. We'll see this in replay. I don't think there's really anything in this. It's just one of those situations where the tackle comes in and they lift. Or maybe there is. Maybe there's a bit more in it than I thought. He might be a very, very lucky man to be staying out there. So, Ilya Nagata, I think it is, might find himself having to answer some more questions down the track. but it does mean that the Rams will be inside opposing territory again. Across to the left, crisscross play, and Ruben Lawler pushes and hits hard in the tackle. Gets a wedgie for his troubles. 40 out. They're not afraid to go through the hands. Flattened there was Michael Gilmore. Perfectly timed hit from the Blues. Just as the ball got into Gilmore's hands. An opposing tackler got into his stomach, and as the wind came out, so did the ball, and so the Blues will get the scrum feed. 35 out from their own line. This game was a closer game than the 18-point margin suggested at half-time. And if the Rams score next, you've got a feeling we could be in for something very, very special as the afternoon progresses. That was Fainafo. We haven't seen much from Fainafo so far today. Queanbeyan Blues player flipped over in the tackle. And now a lot of mucking around in there. That's got to be a penalty. Kev Vato disguised it fairly well that he was trying to get out of the way, that he wasn't really trying to get out of the way. Campese doesn't muck around on taking their penalties, takes it quickly, which just adds to the pressure on the opposition side. So there'll be about 33 out when this set starts. It's with Nazari. He's the first cab off the rank, up over the 30-metre line. You can see McLean directing traffic at dummy half. Referee thinks about the whistle, decides better of it. O'Donnell takes it to 15 metres out. McLean again. Now to Campese. Campese runs behind a couple. Gets it to Beath. Beath offloads to a flying Brendan Tauaki. And Tauaki scores one of the easiest tries you'll see all afternoon. This game's starting to open up a bit. But just so many attacking options for the Queanbeyan Blues this time that the Rams, well, they just really didn't know where to defend. As you'll see here, Campese, long ball, gives it to the halfback Beath. And by the time it's got to Beath, from Beath to Tauaki, well, really, there wasn't a great deal that they could do about it. McLean setting it up at the start. I suspect that's a play that they've run at training a couple of times. Jeff Morgan from the Rams is out for another conversation with the ref. He's obviously not happy about something, but I can tell you there's nothing wrong with that try. Tauaki scoring it because the Rams were wrong-footed, because the Blues changed the direction of the attack very, very quickly. Clock's been stopped. No, it hasn't. It's still rolling. I thought it had been stopped for a second there. It just held for a second or two on the 18:15, it was saying. I'm just sitting there holding. So we've gone try for try here in the second half. And Campese converts. That'll make it 28 points to 10. So once again, that 18-point margin. Just would have liked to have seen the Rams have scored from a couple of their opportunities, at least one of their opportunities in the first half. Would have just put such a different complexion on the game. The Rams have really had to play some expansive football thus far in the second half, and all it has done, well, it's brought them 2 tries. It's also seen the Queanbeyan Blues able to score a couple because the Rams having to think more about attack perhaps than they would have liked. It was Nagata, Campese. Plenty of options, gives it out to Stevens. Stevens finds Spears. Spears is flattened just inside attacking territory. Campese runs from dummy half, thinks about going outside, goes back inside, gives it to Misios. Misios long ball to Nagata. Nagata pushes forward, he's up over the 30. They're just making distance easily now, the Blues. I think the Rams might have just about got the needle on E in the petrol tank. There's been a hand on that one as it goes towards the sideline. Touched as it rolls over. Knocked forward indeed by the Rams, so it'll be another scrum. And it'll be a scrum to the Queanbeyan Blues. I just don't know what the Rams have got left in the tank. I think they've given everything in the first half of this second half, if that makes sense. The first 20 of the second 40, if you like. I just don't know what they've got left. They are starting to look like a side not devoid of energy, but certainly playing with fewer resources than their opponents. Campese to feed the scrum. And now he takes the pass off the back of the scrum. Runs back in towards the referee. It was an interesting play. Came to nothing, but certainly interesting looking. They go to the right. Nagata charges towards the posts. Makes it from 20 to 10. He's 5 out. He reaches forward. I reckon he's an inch short. Referee says the same. McLean at dummy half. Campese has plenty of support. Crawling towards the line. And I reckon that's another, again, an inch short. It is. They go left. Campese, long ball. Finds Michael Cullen. Michael Cullen back to Misios. Misios is wrapped up on the 10, so the Rams do well. Push the Blues back a little bit and give themselves some extra turf to defend. Campese, long ball. This time, rarely. It goes to nobody. Taweki eventually grabs it, but they're back at the 20. Last tackle called, outside the 20. Good defence from a tiring Rams side. Beath goes skyward. Who's underneath it? Several players. Misios flies, bumps into Jesse Torres, who tried to take it in the air. Torres comes down to ground with it. Could almost have picked up a penalty there. Must have just had a foot on the ground when the contact was made. The Rams, they need to make some metres. They need to get something back here. They're just the same off as they were at half-time. 3 tries down. They've got the penalty this time. Bit too much push and shove. Either that or the referee saying, can I have a facial too after the game? Thank you very much. And you can't tell me that was an accident. Johnson's kicked that straight at Campese. Who me, sir? Butter wouldn't melt in my mouth. Going back on. Jeff Morgan brings it up to the 30. This game getting a little bit willing. Ball goes to ground. Pretty ordinary pass on the Rams, and it's picked up. I think that might be Taweki. Now, which way's he called that as a knock-on first? I hate these ones. Let's see if we can work it out. Well, he's called it to the Blues. You can see this kick here. Campese. I don't know if it would have made any contact if he hadn't moved, but certainly having to take some reflexive action out of the way. The things you see during the footy on a Saturday afternoon. We've got time off with 13 minutes and 14 seconds remaining on the clock. So I can tell you we've got precisely 60 seconds between the official clock and our guide clock on screen for you. It's Jaden DeRoy being attended to for the Rams by the trainer. I'm not sure how long DeRoy's been out there for. I suspect he's only just come on. And the number 15, I certainly don't recall calling him at all during the course of the game. Maybe fresh legs. He's 2 off the scrum, but there's a bigger problem there for the Rams that it's the Blues with the ball. Fainafo up to the 30-metre line. Oh, complete mess of the play, the ball. Absolute dog's breakfast there. And interestingly enough, the game clock has not restarted over there, so I'm not entirely sure. Now it has. There we go. We'll see if we can get ours in sync with that one. That shouldn't take long, about another 10 seconds, and we should be right to go with that. So we'll try and get them all synced up for you as we get to the last 12 minutes. You're not missing anything. As you can see, the scrum goes down. Oh, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. just had a stray ball come into our commentary area. Everything happening here at Phillip this afternoon. So meanwhile, the Rams are having a red-hot go here in a game that is starting to get a little bit sloppy. Gilmore pops it out the back. It's been picked up by a teammate. Referee says 6 again. So the Rams a chance here to get back within 2 tries. That's Lawler. Up at the 20. Now it's with Moala. We haven't seen much from Junior Moala since the half-time break. So he should have a bit of energy up his sleeve. They go to Johnson. Johnson looks outside. He finds DeRoy. DeRoy doesn't find the ball except on the second grab, but he may have put a little hand on it and knocked it forward. That's what the referee is saying, that he's knocked it forward, retrieves it and gets it back. And now it's on, push and shove. Oh, plenty of pushing. Bit of jumper grabbing. Not really seeing anything serious in there. Probably a few nasty words being said, but it's all petered out to nothing. So the referee puts the hands to the air, says time off. Well, let's see what happened here. Might as well see if we can glean anything from it. Oh, well, a bit of a push and shove. Campese and Johnson. Well, neither of them were terribly thrilled with the other after the penalty down the other end of the field. We're back into play. And with our game clock about to start again, we'll be back perfectly in sync. So there we go. We're pretty close to the mark now for you. And the Blues come forward. That was McInnes who's lost the ball in there. Well, the last few minutes really haven't been terribly exciting at all here. It's been a fumble here, a fumble there, a bit of push and shove, another fumble. A reminder, you're watching the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup 2017 Round 7 fixture from Phillip Oval. It is the Woden Valley Rams and the Queanbeyan Blues. Next week, by the way, we're off to O'Connor. Jeff Coop will be bringing you the commentary for the Belconnen United Sharks and the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. That'll be a really interesting game. The Belconnen United Sharks have started to show some good form in recent weeks. And up against a Tuggeranong side. Variable, I think, is possibly a word we can use for their form. Should be a cracker from the wonderful suburban ground in O'Connor. There's Lawler for the Rams. He takes it up to the 10-metre line. It's a little bit of help towards the ground from Nazari. About 5 metres out. And again, he's made a hash of the play of the ball. We've seen a couple of those. There might have been a helping hand in there as well. Often is when the play of the ball goes awry. But either way, it's a penalty. And again, just adding to the overall sloppiness we've seen in the last 5 or 7 minutes of this game here. See him trying to go forward here, and Nasri just gives him a little bit of a helping hand towards the ground. Now, does he get a bit of a help here? Oh, no, he just completely messes that one up by himself. So, Ruben Lawler trying too hard to get the quick play of the ball. In the end, achieves precisely nothing. 9 minutes remaining. 3 tries the difference. Let's hope that this game doesn't really peter out into something pretty ordinary for the last 9, because the first 70 have been pretty good. I can tell you the Rams have got a few interchanges up their sleeve, but they really need more than they're going to have time to do as the ball goes to ground and a good tackle on Nagata. So, just a nice one-on-one tackle. I'm not sure who it was who got Nagata there, but they managed to knock the ball free. And so we'll get another scrum. What's that, our fifth scrum in about 7 minutes? Everyone taking the opportunity to have a bit of a breather. Here's Nagata, bounces out of one, bounces out of another. And this is good. That's good little play. In fact, there's no hand on that at all. He's just tried to offload. Morgan putting the pressure on Nagata. And with 7:57 left on the clock, we've got time stopped while Steve Henderson had been receiving treatment for cramp. Time goes back on. Henderson still stretching, trying to get that cramp out. They're a bugger of a thing, especially on a cold day. When you're in the shade on this side, it is very cool. This is going to be a try to Michael Gilmore. And he's going to put it around under the posts. It's come from absolutely nothing. That has come from nowhere. Michael Gilmore, well, we know he's been able to score tries, was the top try scorer in the competition, as John Kreuter told us at half-time, before he was suspended. So let's watch this. This just comes off the scrum. Two passes, Gilmore, and a pretty ordinary attempted tackle from Nasri. And there's nobody else at home. Misios tries to slap the ball out of Gilmore's hands, but to no avail. Try scored, 7 minutes left, 14:28 the score. Conversion will take place from right in front. And is indeed made successful. Now, Woden have not been able to score successive tries here all afternoon. They're leaving it late, but there's still time. 73rd minute, they've narrowed the margin back to 12 points. Now, there'll be no messing around from Queanbeyan here. They will send this very deep, and they do, almost to the goal line. The Rams have got 6 minutes to score 2 tries to get what would be their third draw of the season. I can't see them winning it. To be frank, I think it's going to be a bridge too far for them to draw level. Kotri gets the ball in the middle of the park. I think that's the first time we've seen that today. We should have been seeing that from 25 minutes ago. Lifted in the tackle. Referee agrees. Jeff Morgan was lifted in the tackle. Quick word from the referee to Campese. Now they need to make plenty of distance here. And they do make plenty of distance here. That's not a bad kick. So they'll start on the 40. Feel the crowd giving Terry Campese a bit of a mouthful, and he just laughed at them on the way past. Morgan takes the ball up towards halfway. And then they lose it to ground. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame for the Rams. It was Costa Pazantzis. And I'm casting my mind back to the start of the game now, very early in the game. I reckon Pazantzis put one up to Morgan that Morgan put down, and now it's gone the other way. Morgan's put one up to Pazantzis and he's put it down. You can see Morgan there, and he's... I don't know how Pazantzis had that in the first place. He just got hold of it, and then in the effort of trying to turn it into a better carry, he's lost it. Oh, there's been called a knock on there from Queanbeyan, so I didn't see that in the replay. So the Rams, well, they get a chance to breathe again. They're 35 out. Now it's with Lawler. Gets towards the 30. Queanbeyan slowing things down in the tackle. They don't mind giving up a couple of extra metres if it takes another 5 seconds off the clock. The Rams fans calling for a penalty. Morgan. He's had a good second half, the captain. Now it's with Johnson. Out wide to Gilmore. They'll come back to the right through Johnson again. Long ball finds Morgan. Morgan flipped over in the tackle. Nothing wrong with it. Sent to flat on his back. Johnson with the kick into the corner. Henderson taps the ball back into the field of play. No, he doesn't. The touch judge's flag is up. And what chance there was for a draw in this game, I think, has now officially been extinguished, with less than 3.5, in fact, remaining on the clock. And that being on the last tackle. It'll be a changeover. And Queanbeyan, who've been throwing the ball around with quite some abandon during the course of the afternoon, may decide here to just largely run it one out. They do it the first time through Spears, now through Ilyasa Nagata. They're across to the right. You'd imagine this would be a fairly straightforward set of 6. Campese injects himself at midfield, gives it to Beath. Beath thinks about a pass, gets out of the tackle, wrapped up in the secondary tackle, 35 out. Last tackle called, Campese's waved over to the right, get ready for the big kick over to the right, here it comes. It goes a long way up. Ilya Kotrick has to chase us a long way, it's a horrible bounce for him, oh don't tell me. Brendan Taweki nearly got a double there, he's managed to retrieve it, but in retrieving it has gone to ground and has wound up with his back between the ball and the line. So Kotrick will play the ball just outside his own goal line. 2 minutes remaining. 12 points the difference. This has been an entertaining game of football other than that 7 or 8 minute period from about 63 to about 70 minutes where it got a little bit sloppy. But this has been a very entertaining game of football. Both sides can hold their heads high here this afternoon. The Rams still trying. I guess they could score here. I don't know how they could do it, but they'll have a go. They're on the last. Johnson will just clear this out. Instead, goes for the chip kick over the top. Straight to Stevens. Stevens up the middle of the park. Bounces out of a couple of tackles. Finally brought to ground by Tors, and I think it might be McKenzie in there as well. We go to the right now through Nassery. Quick play the ball to the big man Mitchell Cullen. Mitchell Cullen, he's bounced his way through. Oh, don't tell me. He's going to be absolutely knackered after that. He's run 25 metres, I think, to score it, the big fella. Puts the ball down over the stripe. We'll go back to an 18-point margin. But this, to crown off an entertaining game of football, one of the more entertaining tries you're going to see. You'll see it here. He goes to Mitchell Cullen up over the 20, up over the 10. At this point, he's starting to breathe in a couple of big ones, but he really hasn't had to break through a tackle. Just straight to him. He gets past 1, gets past 2 and 3. Oh, yeah, I'll get past 4, 5, 6, and the 7th one there. By the time he gets to the pub tonight, that one will have, I'll cross the line with 5 blokes hanging off me, having beaten the other 8. So Mitchell Cullen, and I don't know if he scored a try earlier in the season, but I suspect he hasn't. So he's avoided the nudie run at the end of the year as well, would be my guess. And Terry Campese having a bit of fun of his own there. He was went off, had a drink of water. A few of the boys on the sideline asking, I'm not sure if the microphone picked it up or not, but saying, what are you waiting for, Campo? I think he was waiting for the bell to go so that there was no time for play to restart. This conversion makes it back to that 18-point margin. 34 points to 16, the final score this afternoon. After it was 18-0 at half-time, we've seen both sides score 16 points in the second half. It has been a most entertaining game of football here. The Rams by no means disgraced. But the Queanbeyan Blues continue upon their merry way. They sit with 6 wins, no losses, and a points differential now that will be out to 148. The Rams, well, they slipped to, as Vin Scully would say in baseball, deuces wild. They're 2-2-2. 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. I would imagine they will drop from 3rd on the table, but by no means disgraced this afternoon. Quick run through of the scorers for you. No multiple try scorers for the Queanbeyan Blues. All individual efforts. Brendan Spears, Tyler Stevens, Brendan Taweki, David Beath, Michael Cullen, and that final try to Mitchell Cullen. Terry Campese with 5 conversions from 6 attempts this afternoon to go to 34 points. For the Woden Valley Rams, it was a try to Ilya Kotrick, to Steve Henderson, and to Michael Gilmore, and Carl Johnson had 2 conversions from 3 attempts to make their 16 points this afternoon. 16 points to 34 in favour of the away team this afternoon. Next week for the Woden Valley Rams, well, they haven't had enough of Queanbeyan. They've got the Queanbeyan Roos next week. That's at Queanbeyan. And for the Queanbeyan Blues, they will take on the West Belconnen Warriors. That game also over in Queanbeyan. And our game on Bar TV next Saturday afternoon will be the Belconnen United Sharks versus the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. On behalf of the Bar TV team and everyone involved with the Ostbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup for 2017, this is Chris Coleman signing off from Phillip Oval this Saturday afternoon. Thanks for your company. Not a problem. So you've worked out my scoring system now, have you?